Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 1980 cult classic film Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, directed by Irvin Kershner. So the story's by George Lucas, but he didn't do the screenplay for this and he didn't direct it. So it's a different spin within the same universe. And this film is awesome, action-packed. The first third of the film is on the ice planet Hoth. The rebels have successfully blown up the Death Star, but now the Empire is out looking for the rebels, and they found their rebel base, one of the rebel bases, the main rebel base. Darth Vader's now on a quest to get Luke Skywalker, and he's we get the empire, we get the Emperor in this, and it's destined that Luke is going to overthrow the Emperor, and so Darth Vader is trying to figure out why Luke is so important, realizing why Luke is so important throughout this, that he is the one in the prophecy that things, right? So the first third is the Empire is fighting on Hoth against the rebels. Ice stuff galore. Luke is captured by a Wampa and cuts his arm off, and he gets thrown into a tauntaun when Han finds him. That was very gross, but still withholds. The puppetry is in this is fantastic. And then once everybody splits, Han and Leia, Chewie, 3PO, and R2 are off to Sky City. They were lured there, let's put it that way. And Luke is therefore going to go to Dagobah to try to find Master Yoda, who trained Obi-Wan, who's going to be training, who's a Jedi trainer. So Luke is trying to become a Jedi, so he's going to Dagobah. So then middle of the story is Dagobah stuff and Cloud City stuff. And so the Yoda puppetry is just phenomenal. Frank Oz voicing Yoda is just wonderful. And it's just it's great nostalgia seeing the real stuff, the real props, the real, mechanisms working. It's not CGI, it's authentic. So it's got that grit to it. That's what 80s films have. They have that grit to it. And this is an 80s film, and it's got grit, and it's wonderful. So all of the wonderful quotes, or, do or do not, there is no try, and things of that nature, right? It's wonderful seeing all these different things play out. Luke facing Darth Vader in the cave, which is really, stuff within his mind. And why is Luke so attached to Darth, and why is Darth so attached to Luke? When we get to Cloud City, we're introduced to Lando Calrissian's character. Him and Han have a long history, how Han won the Millennium Falcon in a card game against Lando, that Lando lost it in a card game. That's a running joke throughout a lot of the Star Wars fandom. But it's a matter of Lando is in control of Cloud City at this point. The Empire got there before Han and Leia and their crew did, so deals were made. So the deal is that Han is going to be taken by Boba. We are introduced to Boba Fett's character in this. Technically, we saw him in the first one, which is really episode 4, but that was an added scene, added into the 97 re-release, so I don't know if you really count that. This one, he actually says words and stuff, and he needs Han for the bounty from Jabba, because Han owes Jabba a lot of money. And so freezing Han in carbonite to see if it'll work, which it does, in the test of freezing Luke in carbonite to deliver him to the Emperor. So then Luke is brought from Dagobah to Cloud City, fights Darth Vader, loses his hand, and it's revealed that Darth Vader is Luke's father. And it's this whole epic scene on top of Cloud City, which is just memed galore, and you see countless gifs of it now, and it's just been quoted so many times, referenced in so many pop cultures, in Toy Story 2 with Zurg and Buzz. It's wonderful. It's withstood the test of time. So having, the remaining crew then escape to a med ship, basically, of the Rebel Alliance, Darth, knowing he needs to get Luke on his side, that way he and Luke can rule the Empire, father and son. It's not just worry about the Emperor. Let's do it our own. Very interesting spin on that. But it leaves on that cliffhanger. What happens with Han being frozen in carbonite, now within Boba's care, if you will? What happens with Darth on his conquest of trying to get Luke to join the dark side? What happens with Luke's training? Because he didn't technically finish the training on Dagobah. He just, left and said, Yoda, peace out. I got to go save my friends. What happens next? There's a lot of what happens next. So it's not a closed story at the end of this film, which I really like, because it leads right into the next film. So 77 is episode 4, 80 is episode 5, and then we're going to talk about episode 6, and that completes the original trilogy. And then on to more. So within fandom stuff, within merchandising stuff, something I find very interesting is that there's a Lego Cloud City set from the early 2000s that has a Boba Fett figure that is worth thousands of dollars from that one set. That one figure from that one set is worth thousands of dollars. It's amazing. Lego investing is amazing. It's tangible. It's physical. It's not digital. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing how one singular minifigure from the Cloud City Lego set from back in the day is worth thousands of dollars. And people pay it. I wish. If only I got it when I was a kid. And I didn't want that set because I couldn't hang it. Because I was very specific when I was a kid. I wanted the ships so I can hang them from my ceiling. The Cloud City set was more like a play set. I didn't want a play set. I wanted the ships to hang on my ceiling. But if I only knew then what I know now, woo, be different times. Anyway, on to the next review. Mucho mahalo.